protesters are fast-moving.
Unlike other big rallies,
A bit earlier at about 7 a.m., a group from the coast.
Welcome to #PHVote 2013
Today on Rappler.
Linawin na rin po natin, hindi pork barrel ang disbursement acceleration program.
President Aquino defends the controversial disbursement acceleration program and the President's Social Fund. Lorna Kapunan resigns as the lawyer of alleged pork barrel queen Janet Napoles. And the U.S. intelligence chief defends NSA surveillance operations.
Hello, I'm Ai Makaraig sitting in for Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. President Benigno Aquino delivers a primetime address to the nation to defend the Disbursement Acceleration Program or the DAP and the President's Social Fund or the PSF. Aquino says the DAP is legal and is used for programs that serve the public. He addresses criticism the DAP is a fund within a fund and is unconstitutional.
Ilawin na rin po natin, hindi pork barrel ang Disbursement Acceleration Program. Sa kabuuang DAP releases noong 2011 at 2012, 9% po nito ang ginugol sa mga proyektong iminungkahin ng mga mambabatas. Hindi rin po pagnanakaw ang DAP. Ang pagnanakaw, iligal. Ang paggastos gamit ang DAP, malinaw na nakasaad sa konstitusyon at sa iba pang mga batas.
Aquino says DAP funds came from the proper spending of the budget. He says the savings were channeled to agencies that needed to implement their projects immediately.
Mas mabilis at napaaga ang pagdating ng benepisyo sa mamamayan at mas masinop at epektibo nating nagugol ang perang taong-taong nakalaan sa ilalim ng pambansang budget. Kaya nga po ang magsabi, mali ba ito? Kailan ba naging masama ang paghahanap ng konstitusyonal na paraan para makapaglingkod ng mas epektibo sa taong bayan? Dahil po sa
The President also defends his own discretionary fund, the PSF. Aquino cites instances where the government needed funds that can be disbursed quickly to meet sudden needs. He says the PSF funded relief operations after Typhoon Sendong and provided assistance to soldiers and police affected in the Zamboanga standoff. Aquino says the real issue is the misuse of the pork barrel, which lawmakers allegedly channeled to fake NGOs in exchange for kickbacks.
Baka po may nakakalimot sa atin. Pagnanakaw ang tunay na ugat ng isyong ito. Iyan po ang usapang pilit nilang tinatabunan matapos mabisto ang kanilang kalokohan. Sa inabahaba ng mga kontraparatang na ibinabato sa atin, ni minsan hindi ko narinig ang katagang at statement na hindi ako nagnakaw.
The President also hits critics tagging him as the pork barrel king.
Ulitin ko po, pagnanakaw ang issue dito. Hindi ako nagnakaw, tayo ang ninakawan, tayo ang niloko, tapos tayo pa ngayon ang pinagpapaliwanag. Tayo ang patuloy na naghahanap ng katotohanan. Tayo ang nagbawas sa mga mekanismong maaaring gamitin para abusuhin ang kapangyarihan. Tapos tayo pa ngayon ang pinaparatangang pork barrel king.
Petitions questioning the constitutionality of the DAP and the pork barrel are pending before the Supreme Court. Aquino's speech comes after the latest Pulse Asia survey shows a dip in public appreciation of the administration's anti-corruption drive. The Commission on Audit, or COA, says certain executive offices got as much as 133.25% increase in Priority Development Assistance Fund, or PDAF, allocations. In a report posted on the website in October 2013, COA says the amount these unidentified offices received rose from 324.48 million pesos in 2011 to 756.39 million pesos in 2012. The increase for the unidentified identified executive offices is far from the PDAF adjustments obtained by other agencies. The closest to it is the Education Department, which got a 43.68% increase. From 2011 to 2012, the Public Works Department tops the list with more than 10 billion pesos in PDAF allocations, followed by the Budget Department and the Social Welfare Department. The item Other Executive Offices ranks fourth in the list of government agencies that got the most PDAF in 2012. Some agencies earlier identified as conduits of funds that went to fake NGOs suffer huge decreases in PDAF allocations. The autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao gets the highest drop in 2012 compared to 2011, followed by the Finance Department. The woman defending alleged pork barrel queen Janet Napoles resigns. Bea Cupin tells us more about the events leading up to the resignation of controversial lawyer Lorna Kapunan.
On the last day of Janet Lim Napoles' bail hearing, lead counsel for the defense Lorna Kapunan is absent. Justice Secretary Laila De Lima confirms the woman who has been the sole defender of Napoles has resigned. Instead, collaborating counsel Alfredo Villamor takes the spotlight in the cross-examination of key witness Ben Horluy. Villamor says even he did not know of Kapunan's plans to withdraw as Napoles' counsel.
They didn't have any idea.
I do not know yet.
Oh, so
Kung what will be my role later on. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm limited to this serious illegal detention.
Villamor is not part of Kapunan's team. He was also the lawyer of Napoles' jail and corporation. During Luis' cross-examination Tuesday, November 29, Villamor says he and Luis are friends, but he says it didn't affect his questions.
Of course not. No. On the merits lang.
Lawyers close to the case say Kapunan resigned out of differences in strategies with Villamor.
May kanya-kanyang strategy kasi ang lawyers, and maybe to us that's what the case warrants.
But in an interview on radio, Kapunan insists pressure was not a factor in her decision to withdraw. Kapunan explains that as a matter of courtesy, she went to court Wednesday morning to inform the judge and the prosecution that Villamor will take over the case. She just needs the written consent of her client before formally withdrawing as counsel.
Siguro parang intention, pero I'm not aware. Sila lang kasi nag-usap kayo dyan. Parang may intention lang siguro, pero I don't know kung ano talagang pinag-usapan.
A week before, Kapunan lamented Napoles' condition inside her detention center. Napoles is detained at Fort Santo Domingo in Laguna, while her brother is still at large.
Well, we have been told by her doctor that she has been taking tranquilizers to calm her down. Well, she's in solitude. She's alone by herself at night, and it is natural for a person who is alone at night to be talking to oneself, and to be imagining things.
In the past, the lawyer has repeatedly said prosecution's evidence is weak.
I can confidently say, without mentioning details, that the prosecution has miserably failed to show that bail should be denied.
As the bail hearing ends, it will be up to presiding judge Elmo Alameda whether to allow or deny Napoles' bail plea, with or without Kapunan by her side. Bea Cupin, Rappler, Manila.
Tropical storm Vinta, international name Crossa, intensifies slightly as it moves towards northeast Luzon. State Weather Bureau Pag-asa says the center of the storm is estimated 610 kilometers east of Ilagan, Isabela. Storm signal number 2 is up over Cagayan, including Calayan and Babuyan group of islands, Isabela, Kalinga, and Apayao. Signal number 1 is up over Ilocos Norte, Mountain Province, Abra, Ilocos Sur, La Union, Benguet, Ifugao, Nueva Vizcaya, Quirino, Aurora, Pangasinan, Nueva Ecija, and Batanes. Citing the huge number of illegal Filipino workers in Saudi Arabia, the Philippines asked for another extension to legalize the worker status. In a letter Tuesday, Vice President Jejo Marbinay requests the King of Saudi Arabia to extend the deadline set on November 3rd. The original deadline was July 3rd. Violators face up to 2 years in prison and fines of at least 100,000 rial or $27,000. 4,302 undocumented Filipinos have been flown back to the Philippines as of Monday. The Philippine Foreign Affairs Department says over 1,500 workers are waiting for immigration clearances. A senior U.S. official says President Barack Obama is considering banning U.S. spy agencies from eavesdropping on allied leaders. The official, speaking on condition of anonymity, says this step is under consideration, but no policy decisions are finalized as Obama waits for the results of reviews into surveillance practices. This comes following outrage in Europe over the national security agency's alleged spying operations in France, Spain, and Germany. A CNN report citing Senate Intelligence Committee Chair Dianne Feinstein says Obama was not aware of the collection of allied leaders' communications. On Tuesday, the head of U.S. intelligence defends the surveillance programs but stops short of confirming reports the U.S. eavesdropped on German Chancellor Angela Merkel. National Intelligence Director James Clapper says learning the aims of foreign heads of state is a, quote, basic tenet for U.S. spy agencies. He adds it's invaluable for us to know where countries are coming from, what their policies are, how that would impact us across a whole range of issues. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 6, Global Financial Information Group Thomson Reuters says it will cut some 4,500 jobs in its finance operations by the end of 2014 after reporting a drop in profits. The company, which also operates the Reuters news agency, is in the midst of a vast restructuring, which is notably hitting its financial information division. At number 9, Samsung expands its lead over Apple in the global smartphone market in the third quarter. The IDC survey says the worldwide smartphone market saw record sales in the quarter with growth of 38.8% from a year ago and 258.4 million units sold. South Korean electronics giant Samsung widens its lead over Apple, shipping 81.2 million smartphones compared to Apple's 33.8 million iPhones. And at number 10, Turkey opens the world's first sea tunnel connecting two continents, a 3 billion euro mega project. The 13.6-kilometer long tunnel linking Istanbul's European and Asian sides includes an immersed tube tunnel, which officials say is the world's deepest at 60 meters below the seabed. The tunnel in the country's main gateway city is part of a larger project that also includes an upgrade of existing suburban train lines. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. A classic fairy tale plays out live on stage in the Resorts World musical Cinderella. G tells us more about this theatrical production.
I'm here at the Newport Performing Arts Theater in Resorts World for Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, a classic musical fairy tale for the entire family to enjoy.
Families flock to the theater to see the iconic fairy tale we all grew up loving. Cinderella, with the help of her fairy godmother, gets her wish to go to the ball. There she meets her Prince Charming and leaves behind her glass slipper. 17-year-old theater actress Julia Abueva alternates with Karil as Cinderella. Abueva says being able to portray her favorite Disney princess is a dream come true. She says being part of this theatrical production has been life-changing.
I'm transitioning from, I don't know what it is, teenager to woman to, and there's a lot of strange emotions. You're figuring out a lot of things about yourself, and being in Cinderella, it just took me back to my childhood. It took me back to, dreaming big and staying positive and looking for the good things in life instead of focusing on the negative.
Up-and-coming theater actor Fredison Law alternates with Christian Bautista as Prince Charming. He claims he is no Prince Charming in real life.
Some of the challenges that I faced in, portraying the prince was basically to embody that dream guy that every little girl wants to see in a prince. As a person, I'm a little bit more dorky, and kind of shy. But now I really had to get out of myself and really think about what a prince would be like in a girl's fantasy.
Theater veteran Mencho Lochenko Yulo plays the magical fairy godmother. She says Cinderella teaches a valuable lesson to children of all
Precisely
ages.
because of that. I think it's very important for kids in particular, because this is pretty much a kids market, to realize that if they want something in life, they can't just sit back and be an observer. So if you want to pursue a dream, you gotta be a go-getter. You gotta make that dream happen, and the power is within you, which is what the fairy godmother says.
Theater veteran Michael Williams transitioned seamlessly from actor to director for Cinderella.
Yeah, well, an iconic story like this, it's almost like the to be or not to be speech of Shakespeare. Everybody knows it, and because everybody does know it, it's a challenge to try to find that thing which is fresh about it.
It's that enchantment and magical spectacle that you and your entire family should not miss in Resorts World's fairy tale musical Cinderella, running till December 20. Gitanji, Rappler, Manila.
Every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories which affected our readers the most emotionally. In today's mood navigator, we have this one great story which was the breaking news last night. Fire hits Robinson's Galleria has 71% of people feeling sad, 11% afraid. A story from our investigative section newsbreak, PDAF of certain executive offices doubles according to COA, 81% angry, 14% sad. But the story that got the most votes is today's top story. Kapunan resigns as Napoles lawyer, has 50% of people feeling happy, 24% amused. Taking that with the other circles in green, it all contributes to the mood of the day. Today, most people are still happy. That's Rappler's newscast for today, Wednesday, October 30, 2013. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Ai Makraigan, as we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.